Man, this one gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, "Hey teacher, leave them kids alone." Today, we're telling the story of a classic 80s track about a classroom instructor who crossed the line with one of his students. And since the writer/frontman was a teacher before he joined this band, a lot of fans wondered if it was really about him. Was it a true story? Was he speaking from experience? We're going to find out. Besides that, this song holds another claim to fame as well. It is notorious for trying to pass off one of the worst rhymes in a pop song ever. Even the band admitted it was pretty bad. But despite all the drama surrounding it, this song was just what this band needed at the time. Not only did it become one of their most popular tracks, it opened the door, the way for them to become global rock stars. Part of it, this song, would come back around a few years later to help create another massive hit. So get ready. We got some controversy coming up next on this one on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you remember cutting out and saving UPC symbols from your favorite cereal boxes to send away for a prize through the mail, you're gonna dig this channel of pure musical nostalgia. I remember doing that with E.T. to get that record with Michael Jackson. Anyway, make sure to subscribe below right now. You're gonna dig this channel, a story straight from the legends. Click the bell, all that stuff. Also, check us out on Patreon. We've got full interviews going up there. You can also become an honorary producer to help us curate this music history, and check out our merch as well. All of it's about keeping the music alive. You know, I'm excited to return to another one of my favorite shows we do on this channel. We haven't done one for a while. It's called Breakthrough. In this show, we break down songs, albums, or events that kicked open the door to an artist or band's career and gave them that momentum to rocket to long-term success. Today, we're going back to the beginning of the Neon Decade to bring you the tale of an iconic and somewhat controversial track for one of the greatest trios of all time. I'm talking about drummer Stewart Copeland, guitarist Andy Summers, and bassist/vocalist Gordon Sumner, better known to the world as Sting. Yep, talking about the Police. Their 1980 breakthrough single, "Don't Stand So Close to Me." Now, I got to qualify this one just a little bit because by the time the Police released "Don't Stand So Close to Me," I mean, they had admittedly already had a lot of success in their native United Kingdom and Britain, including 2 #1 hits, "Message in a Bottle" and "Walking on the Moon."
Message in a bottle, yeah. Walking on the moon.
He also had a #2 spot with "Can't Stand Losing You."
I can't stand losing you.
Add to that 2 strong showings in the all-time classic, the #12 Roxanne and the #6 So Lonely. Oh, such a great song. And well, it's clear they had the UK's attention. However, stateside, a lot of people forget this, the Police hadn't made it yet.
You don't have to put on the red light.
Just a couple of the aforementioned tracks had landed them in the Billboard Hot 100. Roxanne went to #32, and Message in a Bottle went to #74. That was it. The Police had yet to release a breakthrough single in America. Said Summers about it. We had some good hits off our first 2 albums, and we were doing well in the States, but we hadn't broken wide open there yet.
You don't have to say your body to the night. Rock, message in a bottle, yeah.
He would go on to say, "You can't believe how much pressure there was for us to make it in America. Gotta make it in America, gotta make it in America." This was yelled at us like a mantra by our manager. That's all we were trying to do. So what did they do? They made it in America. Thanks to their 3rd album, Zenyatta Mandata, when it came to recording this breakout record, it was business as usual for the band. Each member worked on demos at home and then brought them to the studio for the band to policify them. That was producer Nigel Gray's term. Describe the process of the guys putting their collective stamp on all the songs. This was their pact between the 3 of them. All 3 members influenced the final arrangements, and this is what kept the Police's music sounding like, well, the Police. However, this time around, kind of the beginning of this, Sting began a trend that he would exacerbate on the albums that followed. Much more. His demos that he brought in they were pretty much done. According to Gray, Sting had basically recorded the entire album on his own already. He brought in his tapes and said, I just want Stewart to do a bit of drumming on this. And that was going to be the album because they were basically perfect already. Now, Stewart Copeland called it the moment that Sting's ego had landed. Those were his words. However, Summers, Copeland, and Gray all disagreed. Outnumbered, the frontman was voted down 3-1. And the band went to work doing the tracks all over again, incorporating the influence of the rest of the Police at this point. Sting, as you can imagine, he wasn't very happy about this. It was clear that Sting wanted to consolidate his position as the Police's primary songwriter. And Gray's opposition to Sting's coup, that would cost him a future with this band. Starting with Ghost in the Machine, Hugh Padgham would be sitting in the producer's chair from there. Gray, however, he maintained that he was right to stand up to Sting. What he said about the demos, he said, they sounded really jazzy and laid back and had sort of a sleazy nightclub vibe to them all. End of quote. When the record was completed, the band dubbed it Zenyatta Mandata, a name as brilliant as it was mysterious. A debate raged over what the title really meant. Its meaning was questioned by almost every journalist who interviewed the trio about it. It led to some tall tales in response. Zenyatta Mandata is actually the capital of an obscure African country. It's inspired by Kenyan dictator Jomo Kenyatta. It is Sanskrit for top of the world. Now, the more ridiculous the explanation, the more readily people actually believed it. But ultimately, as Andy Summers explained in a 1981 interview with Cream magazine, it doesn't mean anything. So I guess the joke is on all of us. Zenyatta was delivered to the public on October 3rd, 1980 in the fall, polarizing both critics and fans alike. Some called it revolutionary, a new approach to pop music. Others said it was half-baked, incoherent. Tell you the truth, the album was not as polished as what you might expect from a multi-million selling act. However, this was primarily a product of the band's limited time in the studio. I thought it was great. I mean, it was written and completed during a massive world tour, so they weren't able to spend as much time on it. Sting defended the LP's lack of cohesion, saying, I don't see albums as unified wholes. I think that's a pretentious idea, a 60s idea, where an album was a concept. All I see in an album is a collection of songs and a fairly random collection, too. There was no real plan, he would admit. A year after its release, Sting would backtrack, called Zenyatta a reasonable pop album. He actually said exactly, I'll defend certain songs on it, had some good moments, but also had some really terrible moments. However, in the end, the Police had the golden touch, or I guess you could say the platinum touch. Even if it contained some alleged terrible moments, I don't think there were terrible moments, but anyway, that's what he said. It actually sold more than 1 million copies in a matter of months. Internationally, it went to number 16 in Japan, number 14 in Austria, number 8 in Sweden, number 5 in Germany, number 3 in New Zealand, number 2 in Canada, Italy, and Holland. And it went to number 1 in Australia and in the UK. And significantly, in the US, it propelled the trio to superstardom. It rose to number 5 on the Billboard 200 album chart. Obviously, their highest ranking up to that point, and it opened the door for the future. Now, as we continue to break down this classic song, I do want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the glasses that I always wear. Do you know that Zenni has a money-back guarantee on all their glasses? They also have been awarded the best customer service in the business for like their 5th year in a row. Right now, you can get 80% off regular retail prices when you click on the info button right here. Go design your own pair of frames today. You just click right here. You're going to love it. So yeah, 2 singles were released from Zenyatta Mandata. Da-do-do-do-da-da-da-da and Don't Stand So Close to Me. So, like Roxanne before it, Don't Stand So Close to Me is a narrative song about obsession. Only this time, instead of a lady of the night, Sting writes about a teen who has a crush on her teacher. And apparently the feeling is quite mutual. So the question is, did the song come from a real experience? I mean, some people who knew that Sting was a teacher before his tenure with the Police thought this song might be autobiographical.
The subject of schoolgirl fantasy.
I mean, as a rock star, no doubt Sting had been the subject of many a young girl fantasy. However, he has insisted that the lyrics are not drawn from personal experience. It never happened. Putting, the speculation to rest, the frontman actually explained that simply he just made it up. He said, I was a teacher, but I never had a relationship with any of my pupils. I wouldn't want to. You have to remember, we were blonde bombshells at the time, and most of our fans were young girls, so I started role-playing a little bit from there. I thought, let's exploit that. And it really worked. End of quote.
So badly knows what she wants to be.
So Don't Stand So Close to Me is a prime example of Sting's work backward method. For this technique, he'd pluck a title from the air, free associate some ideas with it, then write a narrative. In this case, one of those ideas was from a story that had already been written. Everybody knows this story. Vladimir Nabokov's provocative and controversial 1955 novel Lolita, a tale that, of course, delves into the disturbing relationship between Humbert, a middle-aged man, and his obsession with Lolita, a young girl.
Well, afterwards, what difference does it make?
You were sitting at a table with two boys.
So wanting to identify exactly what his source of inspiration was, Sting shoehorned the author's name into the song very blatantly, giving us one of the loosest rhymes that you'll ever hear. Of course, it's no use. He sees her, starts to shake and cough, just like the old man in that book by Nabokov.
He sees her, he starts to shake and cough.
Sting would get a lot of grief for this lyric. As it were, the accusations started to fly. Was this the worst rhyme in a song in pop history? Sting had a ready response. He said, okay, I can defend that sometimes rhymes can be so bad they can shock you into listening to them. Most good full rhymes are just Hallmark card stuff. Moon, June, balloon. But I've used that terrible, terrible rhyme technique a few times, where it's so appalling, it's almost humorous. You don't normally get those type of rhymes in pop music, and I'm glad. End of quote. I think because it was so blatant, people thought it was a little bit pretentious to name check Nabokov. Anyway, the Police were early adopters of the music video medium, of course, and had already created promos for their previous singles. And Don't Stand So Close to Me, it was no different. MTV was quick to put this one into rotation when they launched. Set in a classroom, Sting plays a mock teacher with a Victorian black gown. Joined by Copeland and Summers, the trio are up to their usual antics throughout the video. We shot it at a real school, is what Sting would say. Didn't tell a story, we just clowned around with me wielding a cane.
This girl's an open page, bookmark.
And that's where they did, the famous police dance that they would be known for going forward. Don't Stand So Close to Me, it broke into the Billboard Hot 100 Top 40 on February 21st, 1981. By April 25th, it reached its peak position at number 10, their first top 10 hit. Additionally, it also hit number 11 on the US mainstream rock chart and number 9 on the Cashbox chart. After a solid 13-week run, Don't Stand So Close to Me would finally drop off the Hot 100. Now, internationally, the song put up some really big numbers as well. Went to the top 10 in, I think it was 11 countries. Number 9 in Norway, number 8 in Belgium, number 3 in Australia, Italy, South Africa, and the Netherlands. Went to number 2 in New Zealand and Canada, and number 1 in Spain, Ireland, and the UK, where it spent 10 weeks on the charts. Now, through the years, Don't Stand So Close to Me has appeared in a handful of movies and TV shows, including The Simpsons, always The Simpsons, Everybody Hates Chris, and Glee.
Don't stand so close to me.
Additionally, Don't Stand So Close to Me has been featured on 2 NBC tentpole sitcoms, Friends and The Office. Now, on Friends, if you remember, starring actor Joey Tribbiani appears on a poster for venereal disease treatment. It reads VD, you never know who might have it. When the poster starts popping up all over New York, it puts a serious crimp on his love life. Now, fittingly, Don't Stand So Close to Me plays in the background. Perfect choice. So in The Office, you can actually catch an assortment of police songs in the series thanks to Kevin's police tribute band, Scrantonicity. As for Don't Stand So Close to Me, this one was in the season 2 finale, Casino Night. In it, Jim and Pam watch a video of Scrantonicity performing the song in a bid to play Pam's wedding. And then in the 80s, there was this placement.
Now there's a wider choice of body mist too. New unperfumed body mist too.
Yeah, Don't Stand So Close to Me. It was used in a deodorant commercial. I mean, sure, it was a clever idea, but Sting thought it sucked. And he was pretty angry at Body Mist and his publishers who had authorized the ad. He would say, it became a deodorant advertisement, much to my chagrin. I came back from a tour once, turned on the telly, and there it was in a commercial in which a girl in a swimsuit raised her arm and everybody fainted. I put an injunction on it, and then the advertising company and the deodorant people sued me for what they had lost, so it did cost me a lot of money, but I got it stopped. In terms of covers, there really isn't a lot for Don't Stand So Close to Me. I mean, the Backstreet Boys did it with Sting, and then Jimmy Fallon with the Roots teamed up with Sting as well, but really, it's woefully underrepresented. Probably due to the subject matter, I would guess. I don't know.
Don't stand so close to me. Don't stand so close to me.
One more mention, though. Of course, we have to say, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but the song has its ties to Dire Straits' 1985 hit, Money for Nothing.
That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free.
Just compare the lines, Don't Stand So Close to Me, and I Want My MTV. Just brilliant use there. Sting would sing that iconic line in Money for Nothing. Mark Knopfler called Sting, in Dire Straits, recording the song in Montserrat, and he happened to be in town windsurfing, came right over, recorded the iconic line, and of course MTV absolutely loved it. It's a full-fledged advertisement for him.
America, demand your MTV! I want my MTV!
Sting got a writing credit on a song that became one of the biggest ever, not to mention its iconic music video. It's so cool how it came back around. Of course, no conversation about Don't Stand So Close to Me would be complete without talking about the track's infamous 1986 redo, remix, whatever you want to call it, from their greatest hits record, Every Breath You Take, the singles. That year, the Police briefly reunited to record some updated versions of some of their old songs, and I guess if everything went well, they were going to try another studio album. And that was a big maybe, even going into it. In any event, it didn't go well. The reunion fired up old rivalries, and the Don't Stand So Close to Me 86 version was as far as they got. Well, along with a different version of da-do-do-do-da-da-da-da, and you can actually find that on YouTube. I'll link to it. It was pathetic as in truly sad, said one A&M staffer at the session. If you've ever heard a married couple bickering about the toothpaste, you've got an idea of what this was like. While Sting came into the sessions with ideas about how to rework Don't Stand So Close to Me, Stewart Copeland came in with a fractured collarbone. The day before, he took a hard fall off his polo pony, and then later during the sessions, Copeland broke his arm as he awkwardly reached over his synthesizer to grab something in utter agony. He was rushed to the hospital to undergo emergency surgery from there. I mean, the reunion was already off to a rocky start without some of the other drama. As the sessions carried on without him, Sting, for old time's sake, erased all of Copeland's drum parts. Yeah, he swapped them for his own. Copeland can't say he didn't see that coming. Certainly wasn't the first time. So when he returned the favor. He swapped Sting's work with his own after the singer left for the night. Many incidents would follow, and the power politics continued to escalate. Summers, for his part, realized that nothing had changed and that nothing ever really would. To him, it was clear that Sting had no intention of writing any new Police songs. So the remixed, redone, Don't Stand So Close to Me 86 version, and of course the other version of Do 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 Do, they were all that we were going to get as fans. Slowing down almost to a grinding halt, Sting also added with a monotonous disco beat, making the track kind of a parody of its former self, or at least that's how some people felt about it. Don't Stand So Close to Me 86 would divide both critics and fans, with some like Smash Hits, for example, coming in for it, calling it better than the original, and others like the Record Mirror entirely against it. They said it was horrific and should never be let into society. Anyway, I thought it was pretty good. Not surprisingly, the band members, they were divided on it too. Sting, who initiated the remix, said he really liked it. He called it more melancholy, more reflective, and more poignant than the original. Summers strongly disagreed, saying the first version was a lot better. But bandmate disputes aside, what do you think about the track? Which version do you like better? Is the 86 remix a welcome addition to the Police canon, the redo, or is it an all-out disgrace? Let us know in the comments. I like both versions. The second one is a little more serious. The song was really the Police's coming out party in America. Put them on the front burner. It eventually made them the biggest band in the world. I mean, I remember listening to Zenyatta on cassette for the first time. My aunt, who was into punk and new wave, she had it. I asked to borrow it. It didn't leave my first Walkman for months. I mean, I heard the song on the American Top 40 with Casey Kasem, but hearing it with the rest of the songs on this album, it was just magical. And immediately the Police became one of my favorite bands. I had no idea what this song meant, though, when it came out. Not until years later when I realized this in the 86 version. That was a little bit more mature. I remember getting an English Beat shirt just like the one Sting wore in the video, though, because I thought it was so cool. And then I ended up loving the band. So many memories with this one. I remember playing a joke on my favorite high school teacher who loved Sting and the Police. I would hum this song like the Jaws theme whenever a girl in our class would come up and ask him for help or come to his desk to ask him a question. He'd look at me and just roll his eyes. It was really funny. Everybody started doing it after that. This was truly the opening shot in America of what would become world domination with a band that would take music to just incredible levels. Beyond this, from Ghost in the Machine to Synchronicity, I just don't make them like they used to. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about the Police and Don't Stand So Close to Me. What are your memories of the song? What is your favorite version of the song? What do you think of the video? What do you think of the song? Let's have some great memories and some shares below in the comments. If you like our content, we do invite you to subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.